Okay, folks, I saw that Eric July has posted recently on YouTube that Isom number 2 is nearly done. It's going to be 112 pages, and I think he's expecting lettered pages back from Eric Weathers any time now. So we're getting. I know that he plans on publishing Isom number 2 within the first quarter, so at least by the end of March, we should be seeing copies coming our way. This right now, I would think, is the perfect time for last minute editorial revisions if it's possible to make any. Now there are some areas where probably you can't really do too much, with regard to the art necessarily, but things like coloring, things like lettering, things like dialogue balloon placement, things like adding, subtracting, modifying dialogue, these are all important elements in a comic book that can be modified like right up to the last minute. And I know this because Ethan Van Sciver, when he's been working on Wrecked Planet, was constantly in communication with Eric Weathers and others, basically saying, can we nudge this? Can we adjust this? And there were actually a couple of adjustments to Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet that were inspired by some advice that I gave at one point or another. One of them just had to do with dialogue balloon placement. I basically said, when the dialogue balloon is up this high, you're leading your reader's eye that way. If you could just shift it down a little bit, then they know that they're supposed to go to that other panel first and then come back around to here. And, sure enough, communicated with Eric Weathers, made a quick adjustment, and that should be in the book. Then there was another place where I advised on a little piece of dialogue, and I don't know if it was just based on my advice or if it was in combination with others' advice. Heaven knows he got a lot of good feedback from various other comic book writers. Bill Willingham apparently gave him 13 pages of notes. So that particular page was previously okay, and it turned out fire. I mean, that page was excellent when I saw the finished result. So, I mean, it's not like I'm incapable of helping when it comes to this, and that's kind of my point in making this video. You might have heard that Steven Crowder got frustrated with the Daily Wire because they made him an offer he not only could refuse, he joyously refused and exposed to the world. But I'd like to make an offer to Eric July as well. Now, he recently had me on his show, and it's behind the paywall, so I can't link to it, but at the same time, I do have a recap of certain things that we discussed during the show. And I don't get necessarily the impression that he had a lot of regard for my opinion throughout our conversation, but I'm just going to put the offer out there anyway as kind of a, first non-binding contract kind of thing, and say, hey, if you want me to take a look over your stuff, I will sign whatever non-disclosure agreement you want me to sign. I mean, of course, that also would have to be negotiated just because, I don't want to be able to not talk about it forever. But if there's like some period of time during which I'm not allowed to talk about the book or any of the suggestions that I would have made to the book, etc., can't make any YouTube videos about it, but I can just basically contribute things, then, hey, I'd love to have a stab at being able to see what is wrong with Isom 2 before it goes to print and be able to fix a lot of the things that I would see wrong with it. Because the one thing that I really don't want is for the readers out there who are like me, who are wired the way that I'm wired, and I'm not the only one, but to see this book, to get this book in their hands and be just as disappointed with it as they were with Isom number 1. Because my final judgment on Isom number 1 was, wait till Isom number 2 before you buy this, because just on its own, it's not worth the money. You're going to have to wait until the next issue to see if it's actually worth something. So I would love to see the book at least rise to my standard of quality and have that opportunity before it goes into the reader's hands. Because then everybody benefits. I benefit because I get a book that satisfies me and I think would be more satisfactory to the readers out there. The readers will get a better book, and Eric July will get all the praises because who's going to know, what I suggested and what I didn't. And to me, it's a win-win opportunity. Now, like I said, I don't think he had a lot of regard for my opinion, so I referred him to, Ethan Van Sciver, who made use of my opinions on Cyberfrog 2, and also I've got a couple other people who I've given feedback to on their work, one of whom was very grateful for. The other one I didn't really get any feedback back, and I hope wasn't too harsh in my critique. But I think that I could have something to offer in this respect. And moreover, I would do it for free. I would not be expecting any kind of financial compensation. I mean, at most, it would be nice to have a copy of the book, but even that, I can buy my own copy when the thing comes out eventually. So, there is my non-binding Daily Wire style offer to Steven Crowder kind of thing for Eric July. And if he responds to it, great. If he ignores it, great. We'll just see how it goes. I honestly think that it has the potential to hurt me and my channel to enter into such an agreement like this, mainly because I'd have to shut up about the book. And let me tell you, being able to comment and make commentary on Isom #1 basically doubled my channel. I'm up to 340 subscribers now. I think I was only around 150, if that, when I started commenting on Isom #1. So I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot making this offer here. It's not exactly win-win, except it's win-win in the sense that if all of these thousands of readers get a better product, then that I think would be more satisfying than me having to go through this and feel disappointed after the fact and then have to make a bunch of videos saying, well, I see this hasn't changed, or well, I see he's still going by this philosophy, or well, I see Isom's still a black redneck, or well, blah, blah, blah. So, we're one way or another, we're going to have a comic book in our hands. So, do we want to have the best comic book possible? Well, if you do, give me a shout. I'm Mike Partika. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you later.